like to report out from the closed session. The City Council passed a motion to terminate the police chief, David Salcedo. The motion passed 3-2 with Councilmember Monica Garcia, myself, Mayor Manuel Lozano opposing. The individuals that voted to terminate him with Vice Mayor, Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco, and also Councilmember Cruz Baca and Vice Mayor Susan Rubio. Let me just, and I know that Doug Parnell is the interim chief. Let me just make for the record, I'm extremely disappointed with the decision that was made here tonight. This is an individual that I think became too popular too fast for some of my colleagues, and that's unfortunate. He's a 27-year veteran, originally hired in 1989 by the city of South Pasadena. 1992 was hired by the city of Inglewood, where he served as a sergeant and lieutenant and captain. And it is disappointing for me, and I made it very clear in closed session. This is the second Latino that has been terminated in such a cause. We do have the first Latina, another excellent and very well-liked police chief that was terminated for no cause, and we are facing a lawsuit that may literally reach the $1 million mark. And as I mentioned there as well, that I stood in regards to several officers, a total of 7, who had stated they have been discriminated as far as promotion. These are Latinos, and it's unacceptable to me. I grew up, the way I was brought up, that you don't look at the color of the individual, you look at the context and work together. And that's unfortunate. These individuals will come forward, and I will support them and stand with them, because we need to make certain that the city of Baldwin Park is not operating above board. My plan at this point is to look possibly at the Attorney General's office from the state of California to conduct an investigation. I cannot sell my city in this type of way. It is unacceptable for me, and I think that it also is not fair for the troops that represent the city of Baldwin Park. And I just want to set that for the record. Yes, Councilmember Monica Garcia.
Thank you. I also want to express my disappointment, and you know, a few years ago, we, as a city, dismissed a Latina who brought a lawsuit against us. That decision was made by Ricardo Pacheco, Susan Rubio, and Cruz Baca, and I opposed it along with Mayor Lozano. As a result of that, we are facing a $1 million lawsuit. And this has been going on for nearly 4 years. Now we've, in closed session, taken up the item to dismiss this chief, Chief David Salcedo, who, by the way, was the second highest recommended amongst our internal staff. And the panel consisted of our CEO and our executive team. He was the second highest, and somebody else that was the top priority, we all agreed was not, the right fit for our community for a number of reasons. So this new chief, David Salcedo, came in. He hit the ground running. He interacted with the community. He took an assessment of our police department and was very respectful, I think, internally and externally, while at the same time recognizing that there are challenges and that it is highly fragmented. When I say that, I say it with the knowledge that some of our police officers have expressed to us that they were bypassed in a promotion. And that's a real concern. And it seems like those concerns are only perpetuated by the actions taken today. And I just want to say that in the case of Lily Hadsel, I became passive about standing up for what I believed to be true. But in this case, I won't do that. And I think it's very important for me to communicate, my position, that if there are concerns within our police department that are brought up and that may become a legal challenge, I'm going to stand with, what I believe is right. And I don't think that dismissing our chief because he was trying to do what was right, I don't think that was the right decision. And I will stand, and I'm putting everybody on advisement that I will stand for that this time. So this is a community that represents the majority of Latinos. And I don't want to make it a race issue, but I also believe that we need to be inclusive at all levels of our government. And we need to give people the opportunity, and we also need to give our residents the opportunity to really connect with our police department. And so I feel like that was happening, but now it's been taken away. This is nothing against, those who have served in the police department, and I want to thank you. I know Bartolati, you served, I believe Parnell is now going to be the chief. But I do want to also acknowledge that there have been community members who have come up and said, you know what, I feel connected to the police department. I'm really glad that the chief is out there. He's making the connection with our community. These are statements that have been made. In fact, they were made in closed session, or in the public speaking earlier. And I would just ask that whoever is leading this police department take that into consideration. Learn from even the 4 weeks that we had with Chief David Salcedo. But I just want to state that for the record, I opposed his dismissal, and I will continue to speak out, based on the decision that was made today. And at that point, Mayor.
Yeah, and I just want to say, just so that the audience know, several of those Latinos were told not to apply. These were college graduates who had college degrees. They were told, I don't want you to apply for the next position, which was lieutenant. And that's unacceptable. I don't care about the color, but it's unacceptable for anyone to do that. And I will not stand as the mayor of the city of Baldwin and allow something like that to occur. No one should, regardless. We're all Americans, and that's what makes this country so strong. But I'm extremely disappointed, and I want to first of all apologize in advance that I am walking out at this point as a protest for the firing of a person who became too popular too fast. Thank you, and I'm very sorry.
Yeah. And I also want to state that, I am going to be leaving this council meeting, and it's simply to just be very clear about my position tonight. Again, several years ago, I became passive in the Lily Hatzel case. And that case involves allegations of sexual harassment. And it involves some of the people who are clapping here tonight. But I just want to be really clear that I will be standing up for, the integrity of the decision and my position that I took today, and that was to oppose the dismissal of this chief without merit, without discussing any concerns, without knowing why this chief was hired about 5 weeks ago and now laid off. Clearly it's political. So with that, have a good night, everybody.
Good job.
Yes, Vice Mayor. Mayor Lozano already reported out.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to allow Madam City Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Chris Baca.
Here.
Councilmember Monica Garcia.
As noted, we will excuse her.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco. Mayor Procedural.
Present.
Mayor Lozano.
We will also excuse him. So at this point, I would like to open the council meeting, regular meeting, April 19th, and it's 7:15. Monica Garcia shared the scoring of Mr. Salcedo based on our staff, but she failed to mention there was also a second panel. The second panel was comprised of chiefs of police from all over LA County. These are chiefs that have been around for many, many years with a lot of experience, and they had completely, totally opposite scoring. And so with that, I would also like to make one comment that really just really didn't sit well with me. Before we even had a discussion, before we even voted, before we even opened up the meeting, I was told that by Councilmember Monica Garcia, that if I voted against them, they were going to file a lawsuit and ask me to reconsider. She said, do you really want the Senate? Because if you want the Senate, don't vote that way. And I told her that I don't make decisions for my community based on threats. I already do it because I believe in the community, and I'm not going to be deterred. She did threaten to, well, not her, with a group of people file a lawsuit and accuse me of being anti-women and anti-Latino, and discriminating just to ruin my Senate race. With that, I will move to the presentations. Thank you.
Dismissal of the chief, it's difficult. And it's difficult for some of us to respond because it is a closed session item. We're not allowed to really discuss closed session issues. I know some council members that voted against it will say a lot of what you heard today. But I can assure you that I believe we have a good police department. We have a lot of officers that are of different ethnicities within our police department. We have, I looked at our sergeant's chart, and the ethnicity there is 50%. There's Latinos and Asians and then Anglos, but a lot of our officers that are coming in now because of the demographics, there's a lot of Latino officers that are moving up. And I think that we could always look at improving our policies for hiring, and we're always ready to take recommendations from people to see what we can do to improve in those areas. But the decision that was made that I voted for, obviously, I know a lot of times I'm accused of being along certain party lines, but as you can see, I do what's in the best interest of the community. I don't align myself with a certain group. And in this case, because the items were in closed session, I can't really disclose my position on it, but I think we did the right decision at this point, and we're going to continue to look for a chief in the future.
Thank you. And I just want to make another comment. I know that it's easy to make accusations here, and I just want to make it very clear. I know that we're not at liberty to respond, but I will say this, if there's any doubt that the council values our police officers and that we really, appreciate the work that they do, we only have to look back 4 years ago when the council majority at the time was voted to go sheriffs, and they were going to dismantle the police department. We were ready to sell cars. We were ready to let go of, I believe it was 70 to 80 police officers that would have lost their jobs. And if I remember correctly, it was the 3 council members up here that voted to overturn that decision because we wanted our police to stay, and we were able to keep their jobs. Not only the police officers, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes like our records clerks. And again, I just want to stress that if anybody doubts that we value our police officers, just look back. We fought for an entire year to make sure we didn't go sheriffs, and we fought until we were able to keep them, and that's just a small way of showing them how much we appreciate them. It's always been a great department, and we always value their work, and we work together. We have toy giveaways together, and we do a lot of work together. So I hope people can separate the chief with the police department, because I get calls all the time. We speak on a daily basis with all the police officers. We encourage them all the time to be engaged with our community, and they do it very well. And I hear from our communities, not just the chief, but the police officers. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we do value them. And secondly, I'm a little disappointed with the accusations of discrimination, because every organization has a process. If anybody's being discriminated against, there's a process. You come forward and you make sure that it's on record. If you feel that you were passed over, then again, there's a process, and you go to whoever you need to go to and express your concerns, and let's make sure that we take care of it then. And also, right now, I'm hearing all this discrimination, and there's 7 people, and just for the record, we don't have anything, no documentation saying that this was happening. And so clearly we are not going to condone that kind of behavior, and we've asked our legal counsel to look into it because we want to make sure everyone's protected. But again, I wish they would have came forward sooner and stated that they have concerns, but we've never heard that until now. And again, we want to make sure everyone knows that we value our employees. We want them to have a place to go if they're being discriminated against. And at this point, this is the first time we're hearing about it. So please, I hope you can separate the two. And to all of you police officers, just know that we really value your work. And right now we can't really explain why we make the decision because it's closed session. But know that we do have the best interests of the community, our police officers, and everyone at home. Thank you. At this point.
Oh, Vice Mayor.
Sure.
I just want to go ahead. Many of you that know my decisions here in the short time in comparison to my colleagues in being on the council has always been because I make decisions based on what is the best thing for our community. It hasn't always been the popular vote, but I have always always felt that I make decisions based on what's the best for our community and also for our employees. I want to thank our staff and especially our police department who, and I'm going to echo from what Vice Mayor Rubio said, I was in the trenches when the sheriffs were circling the wagons in a sense. So I just want to say that I thank you so very much for everything you do. I think that all the programs that you have, the toys for the children at Christmas and how you're out there in the community and everything has meant a lot to a lot of the residents in Baldwin Park and of course to us up here on the dais. But thank you so very much. To me, saying discrimination and throwing around racial remarks is very serious for me. I take that very seriously, whatever religious background, whatever the color of your skin is. I am a product of being out there in the 60s, and a lot of you know that I have fought for a lot of human rights. So I take that very, very serious to be told that this is going on within our community and within our employees. So please, I urge you, not only our police department, but any of our staff that feels that at any time there has been any discrimination in whatever it is, please, I urge you to come forward because we really need to look into that if that is the case. And thank you so very much for all the work you do.